quiet and humble island rose from being a humble fishing village with a vast waterfront to a bustling hub of commerce and trade. From its high-rise buildings to its five white sand beaches, to its marvelous mountains and reaches, to its rich underwater reefs teeming with biodiversity and marine life. Ever wondered how it came about? Between the 13th and 16th century, Cebu, then known as Cebu or Sugbo, was an island inhabited by Hindus, Buddhists, and animists ruled by Rahas and Datus. It was a kingdom of the defunct Rahanate of Cebu. On September 20, 1519, Magellan led 5 ships with a crew of 250 people from the Spanish fort of Sanlúcar de Barrameda en route to Southeast Asia via the Americas and Pacific Ocean. They reached the Philippines on March 16, 1521. Arriving in Cebu City, Magellan with Enrique of Malacca as translator befriended Raha Humabon, the Raha or king of Cebu, and persuaded the natives of Aligans to Charles I of Spain. Humabon and his wife were given Christian names and baptized as Carlos and Juana. The Santo Niño was presented to the native queen of Cebu as a symbol of peace and friendship between the Spaniards and the Cebuano. Magellan soon heard of Dato Lapu-Lapu, a native king in nearby Mactan Island, a rival of the Rahas of Cebu. It was thought that Humabon and Lapu-Lapu had been fighting for control of the flourishing trade in the area. On April 27, the Battle of Mactan occurred where the Spaniards were defeated and Magellan killed by the natives of Mactan in Mactan Island. According to Italian historian and chronicle Antonio Pigafetta, Magellan's body was never recovered despite efforts to trade for it with spice and jewels. Magellan's second in command, Juan Sebastian Elcano, took his place as captain of the expedition and sailed their fleet back to Spain, circumnavigating the world. In 1564, Spanish explorers led by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, sailing from Mexico, arrived in 1565 and established a colony. The Filipino-American War between Filipino revolutionaries and the United States that lasted from 1899 to 1902 resulted in the American colonization of the Philippines. Cebu was placed under control by American forces in 1901. During the American colonial period, Cebu grew and expanded as the Americans improved and built new public works infrastructure like roads, bridges, public utilities, ports, and they also developed the public educational system. Cebu City became a charter city in 1936, and the island became a chartered province in February 1937. Cebu also served as a Japanese base during their occupation in World War II, which began with the landing of Japanese soldiers in April 1942. They started the anti-Japanese military operations in Cebu from April 1942 to September 1945 and helped Cebuano guerrillas and fight against the Japanese imperial forces. Almost 3 years later, in March 1945, combined Filipino and American forces landed and reoccupied the island during the liberation of the Philippines. In April 1965, the entire Christian world focused its attention on Cebu City, considered as the cradle of Christianity in the Far East as it played host to the 400th anniversary of Christianity in the Philippines. The celebration highlighted the contributions of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and Fray Andres de Ordaneta in proselytizing Christianity by way of establishing a Spanish settlement in the province. In a country where Catholics predominate, the conferment of the San Agustin Church to the title Basilica Minor del Santo Niño proved to be a momentous occasion as Rome sent its representative papal legate, His Eminence El Defonso Cardinal Antonin. Time, war, and circumstance paved the way in changing not just the historical but as well as the cultural landscape of Cebu. Traversing the path of time, Cebu has undertaken a lot already, but despite that, it never failed to catch the attention of the travelers, both foreign and local, to get acquainted of its colorful past.